of space, we find our light, a community strong. In unity we stand, Obsidian Fleet hand in hand. So come aboard, let your journey start with Obsidian Fleet. You'll find your part in the tapestry of stars, our stories weaving Obsidian's embrace, we believe.
Hello and welcome to your Saturday night edition of FleetCast. We are here and we are reviewing the Counterclock Incident, which is the season finale of the animated series. We have finally got here. It's taken a year and a half, but we are finally here, and I am joined by the most loveliest people in the universe that the Obsidian Fleet and the wider universe have to offer. I'm joined by Thieves and Jill. How are you ladies doing this evening?
Yeah,
Doing
I'm
well.
good. I'm relieved I didn't have to say the counterclock incident, because I know I would accidentally say the
I
wrong
was
thing.
trying my very best. I took my ADHD medication quite a lot later, so I didn't get tongue-tied.
I feel like that's like one of those news anchor bloopers.
Yeah, I am not prepared for that. I know that we could make lots and lots of shorts out of that, and we'd probably get lots and lots of views, but I am not down for that.
We're not here for a Jeremy Hunt mishap.
Yes, we are not doing that, but yes, we are finally here. We
No.
are at the season finale of the animated series. It's been a journey, and you guys have
It
obviously
has.
joined me for other episodes. But before we get into this episode, what has your views been overall on the animated series?
I'm an animation fan. I kind of love it for the fact that it's short, it's snappy. There are some episodes that are wildly better than others.
Yes.
So I would say it's like you can really feel when the writer, whoever wrote each episode, has like hit their stride versus some of the episodes that are a bit more of a struggle bus. But overall, I think it's good fun. It's, it's not huge amounts to get through.
Yeah.
And I can very much see why we then went on to have Lower Decks, because it feels prime for a reboot, and I feel like Lower Decks, the animated series, walked so Lower Decks could soar.
Yes, and very much so. But what about you, Jill?
I'm kind of mixed too. Some were really good. This one wasn't one of my favorites, but that's okay. But overall, like, I kept getting, I don't want to say hung up, because it was a good kind of hung up, I guess. I keep seeing the similarities between this animation and He-Man She-Ra animation, because same company, Filmation. But it's just something before the first episode that I was in, and somebody said something, I had no idea. And so every time they show like a close-up of half of Kirk's face with people in the background, I'm like, oh, that's like a She-Ra thing. And the chick that showed up in this episode, the first time she showed up, blonde, I was like, oh, that looks like another She-Ra about to be. So that's where my mind keeps going with these, because I was such a big She-Ra fan growing up, that that's where my mind sticks.
Yeah, see,
I think the color palette as well, especially for the backdrop, is
very much
similar.
Yeah.
Very, very
well,
office, like lots of purple.
The sound effects, there's similar sound effects as well. Any of the rays or the sound effects, the background, some of the alien world background, plant life and everything is so similar.
See,
so yeah, it's like I'm watching.
Yeah, when I was discussing
it's like a throwback.
When I was discussing this with someone else, obviously people make a joke that the UK has only got 10 actors and we use them in everything. I kind of think the animation in this is literally, they've got 10 animation and they're just using it in all the programs. But
yes,
as someone who's watched every single episode and reviewed every single episode, I was really disappointed in this episode. Like, really, really
Oh.
disappointed. I feel like I've had this lovely little journey. I've had Hellspark. I've had, I've had lots and lots of different moments on this series. And I was really disappointed in this episode. Because
It's not a
I've
finale.
been
It doesn't feel like a finale.
it doesn't feel
no,
like a
not
season
at all.
finale. And that is what frustrated me more than anything else. It does not feel like a season finale.
I kept meaning to look it up. Did it get suddenly canceled without warning? Is that why? Do we know?
I can't remember.
I don't know, but I feel like it's probably ran out of money. That's my guess. That's my guess.
Yeah,
Because I feel
yeah.
like that was a thing for animation houses
Yeah.
of the time, was to
And it's a shorter season than the
Yeah, 'cause
first season
it's-
was too.
it's like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
I
really
don't even think it's
tiny.
that. I think it's 6.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is season 2, episode 6.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Hardly anything.
yeah, it was a disappointment, but there were moments that I really, really enjoyed. Were there any moments that you guys enjoyed?
I loved her. I loved the woman who showed up with the weird She-Ra headdress. And now that you've said it, Jill, I can't unsee it. She absolutely is like just been transported out of the She-Ra universe into Star Trek.
You're welcome.
Yeah, love it. I quite like the concept of the episode, actually. Like the idea of 2 parallel universes. It feels classic Trek.
It
Like,
does. It really
A
does feel.
supernova causes like them for universes to blur together.
Yeah.
Beautifully classic Trek. I also really loved the flower as a way of tracking. I thought that was a really clever story, like simple story device to have the flower tracking aging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually thought, I was like, oh, that's a really clever visual cue to help you in what is actually, for something that is so short, quite a confusing at time story, because you recognize characters in the animation based a lot on what just like because their looks never change. So suddenly when everyone's changing, you need an extra thing to help you track it. So I thought that was great. Yeah, those were the highlights for me, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree. I really like the flower part. I really liked the moral dilemma between April and his wife. I really liked the fact that they could have chosen to stay young, but have none of that life influence and that type of thing. Or they could have obviously grown old again. And I was really hoping for something more in it, but I really did enjoy that. I also really like the fact that the crew, this episode was not really saved by the crew of the Enterprise. It wasn't. It was saved by what we would class in writing communities as an NPC. And I like that. I like that, even though it didn't feel like a season finale. I really like the way that they went for this story, and for it being a 22-minute episode, so much happened. But I actually feel
It really did.
But I feel like I had closure on this episode, and I don't actually feel that often with the animated series, because it's a little chunk size.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think some of the highlights are things that you guys already mentioned. I enjoyed like seeing how they handled a de-aging crew, like what the characters looked like, how they were portraying them as going younger, and how the actors were changing their voice to portray themselves going younger. That was really interesting, especially Uhura.
Yeah.
She was fun to watch turn younger.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it for me.
But I really liked the fact that this would not have been an episode if it had not been in animation, because animation would have been one of the only ways that they could have shown this episode logically, because of the animation style. It would have cost them so much if they did this in live action, if they did this with, actual, like, maybe CGI, or back in the 90s with the actual prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah. Or
You've made that comment before.
I know. This is why I love the animated series, and why I love the Lower Decks, because they are able to tell stories that live action isn't able to, because of costs.
Yeah.
that's why I like animation in general. And I think the best animation is the animation that reaches for the thing that we can't physically create
Yeah.
with real people. You've got to go for like the wild
Yeah,
stuff.
just like even like the black and white space scene where you've got the stars are black and the sky is white. That would have not been possible in live action without it being
no.
massive CGI stuff. It would not have been possible.
Right.
And I do really, really love the animated series, and I'm really sad that this little journey has ended because I've quite enjoyed just having little bite-sized episodes to watch. Was there anything that you didn't like about this episode? Got to give the good and the
I have a
bad.
thing. I have a thing, and it's, why are all their uniforms shrinking?
Yeah.
So like either what is happening in my head, so I was like, okay, canonically, to explain this, either all Star Trek uniforms arrive teeny tiny and they're just very stretchy, so everyone starts off with exactly the same baby-sized uniforms that you then have to like stretch into, or off camera they're changing out uniforms in replicators and things, probably more that. But I was like, at no point do you see, like, I'd have loved to have seen a Kirk with like sleeves dangling over his arms. I think that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Seriously, Phoebes, I love where your mind has gone, and now that you've said that, yeah, I kind of, it's an unanswered question. Yeah.
So it just stuff like that always, when with things like this, it's like when people turn invisible, it's like, why can you still see their clothes? Like, have you, like, is their clothes magic? What's going on? So yeah, that was my one thing I'd change.
Yeah, no.
What about you guys?
What about you, Jill?
I don't know, just within the episode, I'm not quite sure actually. Like just kind of what we touched on before, the fact that it didn't seem like a series ending episode. Like it leaves you thinking that we're gonna watch another one next week.
I can assure you
And
we're
so it
not.
doesn't feel like it wraps anything up.
Yeah.
And again, I'm thinking that it's got to be that it just wasn't expected, because Star Trek usually wraps things up. They usually have a big to do for a final episode. But
even in series that get cancelled, they usually have like
yeah.
in Voyager, where they're having to like cram, because they have that really awkward like where they cram the whole next 2 years of story. Yeah, you're right. They do always try to make a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. But I also wonder if what had happened, because I'm imagining that maybe they started this and then it did get cancelled and they didn't have anything else prepared, and they were told more no. That's logically the only thing I could think of, because we only get 6 episodes. But if someone has an answer for us, put it in the comments, please, so that we know, because I can't find anything on my quick Google.
I just had a little Google as well, because I was like, there must be a reason.
There must be a reason. I can't see it. And thank you to everyone in the comments who keeps saying my hair is nice. Thank you. It's what happens when the UK gets hot. Good. I cut things. So thanks.
Whoa.
Just the hair. Just the hair.
Just the hair.
Just to clear that up. Darn it. Yeah.
Now I took a look on IMDb in the trivia section, because they'll usually put in
great shout
tidbits like that, but I don't see anything about it.
Yeah, I'm even looking on like Memory Alpha. There is just kind of nothing. But yeah, my other issue is with the way the other universe was portrayed. So I've got a question. Did you think the time traveling and the time flowing backwards, was it a concept that you thought was believable? Because it really frustrated me that I couldn't wrap my head around it.
So I think I could go for the sci-fi logic leap where time flows backwards.
Yeah.
What I couldn't understand was, why does that affect the ship itself and how it functions? Because suddenly everything's like back to Frontland, and I was like,
yeah,
what is it about the physics of the world that is like making doors close when they open, for example? Or do you know what I mean? Like that, I couldn't quite get in my head.
I couldn't wrap my head around it, and it really frustrated me. And I was just like, so the son is the old one, the mum's that, and then the dad's the baby. And I was like, I don't get how it works, and I don't like it. My head was
How
very
are babies
confused.
giving birth?
Yes.
That's weird.
Yes.
How is that working? Or actually, do you give, if it's backwards and time is flowing backwards, do you give birth to your mother?
I don't understand it. But then that
don't
brought up
know.
the whole was, well, where
Or
is
do
the
you
mum?
take in a baby?
But this is
Do you
the,
take in a baby?
this is
No,
this,
do you become unborn?
Yeah.
see, this is the question. And then I was like, well,
Oh,
the
no.
dad's there, so where's the mum? Where is the mum?
Yeah.
And then I understand it's a kids program. I fully understand this, but I had a lot of questions. But I do think a lot of it was caused by the fact that I've just gone and watched 28 years later,
Yeah.
and I think I was still on that high. So I have only just watched it, but my brain was like, I don't understand this. I don't understand the physics of this universe. I know
Yeah.
I'm an NHS worker from England, and physics isn't my skill. But
I'm wondering if they put that
What's
much
going on?
thought into it.
yeah,
If they just
I
went,
suspect
everything's
that's-
backwards, and so that's how we're gonna, if everything's backwards, then babies are the old people and old people
Yeah,
are the babies.
I was like, this makes me upset because I don't understand it.
Yeah. So for me, I was going into so in the original King Arthur legends, Merlin is a folk hero in his own right, separate to the King Arthur legends.
Yeah.
And he ages backwards. That's his whole thing.
That's
he
right.
starts off an old man and then becomes younger. So I kind of just readily accepted it in like fairy tale lore.
Okay.
But the more that I think about it, the more unsettling I find
Yeah, I
it. Particularly
was
because
just-
you are seeing like father, mother,
Son.
child,
I don't
son
get it.
on that makes it weird.
Yeah, it kind of upset me ever so slightly, and I was just like, I kind of like that. And then I had the other extreme that I really kind of liked the fact that the episode handled the theme of aging and experience really well through Commodore April's role.
Mhm.
I really kind of liked the message that it sent out of that we respect elders, because you don't always see that. And the fact that the episode ended with them rescinding the fact that he's got a forced retirement. I like that. But I had like two very polar moments, because I was very confused by babies, and then I was very confused. Yeah. It was a whole thing. And I did get confused by this episode. But did you guys like the fact that it handled that theme really well? Or do you not agree that it handled the theme of aging and stuff well?
For the most part, I think it did. I think what was I felt a little bit disrupted when like they started talking about the crew becoming inexperienced as they got younger. Like they're going to hit a point where they were not trained and they're not going to know what's going on. And like at that precise moment, Sulu's like, what am I doing here? I don't know what all this is in front of me. And it's just like, really? I feel like if he'd have reacted that way before they had the conversation, and they had the conversation in response to realizing what he's going through, then that would have been more believable and flowed better.
Yeah, I can see that. There is because otherwise it feels really convenient and a bit spoon-fed, whereas if it's the other way around, it's them working out the problem as you go.
Yeah.
I agree. I quite liked I agree with you, Jill. I think that probably is like a weird script choice. I really liked the fact that they chose, in terms of aging, the fact that they chose to go back for the good of the crew, but also because it felt like they themselves had like accepted that actually it's okay to get older. I was like, and I think when I first watched this, I was a teenager, and I think I remember thinking that's a weird choice. I'd have just stayed. And now that I'm older,
that was actually going to be a question.
I don't think I would go. But if someone offered for me to go back to my early 20s, I'd be like, absolutely not. I'm so much happier now than I was then. I don't want to unlearn a thing.
No, I would actually agree, because I was, as I just said, that was going to be my next question. Would you? Because obviously, Sarah April, she expresses sorrow at losing her age and life experience. even as she regains her youth. And I was going to ask, would you trade youth for wisdom or vice versa?
No, I was a mess as it. I'm still a mess, but I'm less of a mess.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
every
get
year
that.
I get closer. I get
I
closer to
wouldn't.
figuring it out.
I wouldn't.
I think it would be a hard decision. I think I'd have to really think about it, because it's like I kind of miss sometimes those days of like when I had my friend group in college when we were all like
Oh
close,
yeah.
and uh even like 10 years ago when whatever group of friends I had then. It's just like certain moments in time, um you will kind of want to freeze things. So I probably would not
Yeah.
would choose to, continue on, but I think it'd be a harder choice for me than just
You'd maybe want to just
oh
spend
no,
like
I don't
another.
want to do that.
I'd like to go back to that specific day where we had like a really nice time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see why that would be a difficult one for the heart.
Yeah, I fully get that. But I was just obviously looking at it, and obviously I was talking to someone earlier about this, and someone made the point that it's actually in the 1970s, age and retirement were major like social discussions, with the aging population growing and space exploration peaking. It's really interesting that they actually made this into an episode. I didn't realize that until I was discussing it with my friend earlier on, and this is what they said, that because of obviously all those things that were going on in the world, this is why this episode was created.
It's interesting because Star Trek does that a lot. Like when we were at the peak of the AIDS pandemic, for example, you have the episode with T'Pol
Yeah.
around the disease that she catches through the kind of mind link, which is all like an allegory for HIV and AIDS. And Star Trek do that a lot with social themes. They kind of they sci-fi it and unpack it in a kind of like easy to digest way.
It's why I like Discovery.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Star Trek handles things very, very well. Sometimes too subliminally, for people to realize that they're actually watching something that's political or anything like that. But I really, really have enjoyed this little journey. I'm not sure what's next.
Lower deck.
Should we do Lower Decks? Do you want to do Lower Decks?
Yes.
Do you guys want to do Lower Decks? Okay.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
There we go.
Definitely.
Lower Decks.
I love Lower Decks.
Okay.
Any excuse to watch any episode of Lower Decks.
So, are we doing it in order? Yeah, we're going to do it in order?
Ooh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, should we do it in order? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's a decision made. Fair enough.
Sorry, I don't think I realized that was a question. I thought you were just pondering for a moment. And
I was
I think that's what it was, Jill, and I just saw my chance to lower decks it. any chance I get.
Good on you. Good
Thebes,
on you.
Thebes does shoot her shots very, very well. this is one of them.
And also, at least once a week, I will try and persuade someone to do something related to Lower Decks. It's like just part and parcel.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to be doing Lower Decks. But is there anything else you guys would like to mention before you guys give your scores for the final time?
Well, I was just looking at the chat, and Kris has said apparently Google AI, the font of all knowledge, says it was cancelled because no one watched it. So maybe it was a ratings.
It probably was.
They lost their slot.
Yeah.
Cam also has given a fact, which is April only appears in this episode, but because of it, he became a feature in quite a lot of fanfic.
I can imagine
Love that as a fact.
I can imagine that he did.
Wow.
But he does appear in Strange New Worlds.
Oh,
I'm like
99. Love doing that.
That's right.
He does appear in Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of
I forgot about
controversy over who the actor is.
I am convinced the showrunners of Strange New Worlds are just people who've been writing fanfic since
Oh,
they were
100%.
teenagers. I'm convinced because they do that with so much. They're
Do we have
this
to
thing that the fans love.
Do
Let's
we
just
have to
pull that
delve
from
into
fans.
my theory on Discovery that someone on SS Mary Rose is someone who was on the writer teams, because he stole my plot, man. I worked for 2 friggin' years making it so that Greg Knoll was the mirror universe version of himself. I had it all wrote out, and then what did they do to Lorca? Yeah, So I had to sidesweep that.
And now
plot,
you look
didn't I?
like you're. Now it looks like you're skimming off of them.
Yeah, you're ripping off Discovery.
Precisely.
Oh,
2
that's
friggin' years.
so
2
annoying.
years. I am never not going to be cross with that.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. That's I would be too.
It's that.
Holy crap.
If I haven't mentioned that story, it's the fact that they don't do any good merchandise. But I can't really say that anymore because they have actually released some really good merchandise in the last couple of
have got
months.
some cool, and they've also got some great T-shirts out there. At the
Yeah,
moment,
so I kind of
I'm
yes,
into
which
it.
you're wearing, aren't you?
Da, 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 da.
Yes.
Yay!
I've actually really
Beam me
enjoyed their Pride variants this year. I've really enjoyed it. They
They're cute.
do a really good Pride ranges, and I do love it. One year I will eventually get my marbles all together to get myself to one. I never do. I'm so disorganized.
I'm just any
I
excuse
had
for
a-
rainbow or glitter. You had a what? Sorry, Jill.
No, that's okay. I had one other thought
Yeah.
Warp 32.
Yeah.
Like, was this before they came up with a 1 to 10?
Yeah. That's my only theory.
system? Because that's like
Yeah.
they were like going warp 12 and 14, and I'm like, and you're not everywhere, and
There's no lizard
not only
babies.
that, like shouldn't you have gotten closer to that nebula a lot sooner if you're going warp 12?
Yeah. I think
But
they
also,
should.
if you're in a
I was like-
backwards, if you're in a backwards world, isn't that you slowing down?
I
a
mean,
lot-
if
a
you're
lot of
gonna take it
questions.
to that degree, like, yeah. But no,
But
that
yeah,
was just
it's-
one other thing I thought about. I was like, 32. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Are they using the imperial system rather than metric? What's going on?
Yes. Yes.
There we go.
It's
That
that.
must be what it was.
It's that.
Bloody Americans.
All of this Fahrenheit all of a sudden? What's going on?
What the heck? Anything to not use metric.
Yeah.
It's come from you. It's not even me saying it.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
oh, Becca, you've cut out, my love.
Oh no, I'm still
Yeah.
here.
Oh, there we go. You're back.
Oh,
I'm still here.
your
Whatever
volume
you
went
said,
out.
it looks like you were having a lovely time.
Yes.
I have no idea what you said though.
I said I love the fact that it's not me that said that about metric and Fahrenheit and stuff, because it's normally me.
I'm
that says
just
it.
pleased that I made like a sort of maths adjacent joke. I'm like,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
I
So,
felt well smart.
Lovely ladies, what is your score out of 5 for this episode? You both get a score each.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3. I think maybe 3.5.
You can do
it's like,
halves. I'm not precious. It's
can I
fine.
do halves? I'd do a 3.5. I don't think it's a nicely contained story. It's not one of the best stories out there.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I think it's on the above average side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I think I might give it like a 2.5. Like I said, it's
Oh,
I wasn't
okay,
as
so it's a
thrilled
5.
with it.
If my very sleepy mouth skills, that works out what, 5 out of 5? A 5 out of 10?
Wait, you said 3.5 and 2.5.
Yeah,
That'd
no,
be
6.
6.
6.
Maths is not my forte.
We can make
But,
jokes
like,
about the imperial and metric, but basic adding up, we're done.
I probably appreciate it more after talking to you ladies about it. So
Yes.
Yeah. I would say the same. It's always more fun when you're doing it with friends, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this episode. But I do actually have some announcements because, as everybody knows, we were meant to be holding Obsidian Day in like 4 weeks. With all the changes that's been going on, it's not possible. to create an amazing event in 4 weeks. So, Obsidian Day is moving to November. It's moving to November the 9th and 8th, which gives us plenty of time to get everything together, get all the people that I've moved, because obviously David's moved to Joint Fleet Command, Paul's moved to Group Director for 72 and 13, Cam is joining me in comms and basically keep me insane. We have lost obviously Dulac, so we're still going to be trying to work out all that roles and stuff, and it's a logical change that I have suggested and put the dates forward, and both Sepp and David have agreed because it needs to happen, because I cannot create an event that's going to be worthy of this community in 4 weeks. It's not possible, because I want to give people the chance to put awards out. I want people to have a chance to create amazing things, and November's probably the next available time, because July's busy, and then it goes straight into summer holidays. I've got a tiny human. I want to have the summer with her. September we're getting back to school. October we've got Roll for Wishes, which is David's amazing things he does in October with Dungeons and Dragons and things like that, which you'll probably see more about because he'll probably talk about it at some point. So November is the next time, but everyone will see an announcement around this probably tonight. Or tomorrow, depending on how much and how quickly I go to sleep tonight. But yeah, I just want to apologize to everyone, because obviously there's been a lot of announcements, there's been a lot of changes. If anyone is worried about any of the changes, about any of the movement, please reach out to any member of JFC. You do not need to be coming to me. I will have the answers, but you can reach out to everybody. We're all here. And we want to help. We want to kind of simmer things down and get things back to a little bit of normality. So yeah, that's my quick announcement, which is probably not really quick. It's probably taken me more than 5 minutes. But yes.
That was only 2.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad someone was timing me.
Jill was ready to cut you off at 3.
Oh, okay.
So
Good. But yeah, so I know there's been a lot of changes. FleetCast is still going to be continuing because it's my baby and you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. Next week's episode is going to be a live episode with me, Phoebe, and my fellow Women of Nerd Culture host, Sarah, who's going to be coming, and we're going to be talking about Deanna Troi.
Yay!
Having just eaten barbecue,
yeah,
I'm into it. I'm so
it's gonna be a fun episode. Yeah, it's gonna be a live episode. It's gonna be in my living room. Yeah, I'm still trying to work out how we're gonna do this, but we will, because it's gonna be fun and I'm excited. And I would love to hear what anyone loves about Deanna Troi or doesn't like about Deanna Troi. Let us know.
She is like a bit of a Marmite character, I'm discovering as I talk to people.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be talking points, I reckon.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some talking points, and it's going to be interesting because this is the first time Women of Trek have had 3 people on.
Yeah.
Because it's just been me. It's normally me. It's just normally me and Phoebe. So we'll see what happens, and obviously we're going to be back reviewing Lower Decks, it seems. Lower Decks. I'm not sure when that is. That's going to obviously be a talk that we're going to do in a minute. And we will hopefully be back with FleetCast rewrites soon. Paul's been a bit busy with work.
Ooh, yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see. But I've got nothing else.
Rewrite is so fun.
It is, and I'm hoping that we can get back to that soon, because I still want to create my horror universe with my rewrites. So
I also love how different every time it is. Like when you get like 3 writers on, they all come up with something completely different, even though you're all using the same episode as a starting point.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
Yeah,
it's a really fun one to watch, I think.
Yeah, and it's a great concept. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I've got nothing else to add. Do you lovelies have anything else to add? Okay. I said about 35 minutes. We're on 34.44A. So stay lovely,
Yay.
stay logical, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye-bye.